Everything I do, they're like, oh, she did this because of this person. She did that because of that person. If I wear my hair a certain way, if I wear some clothes, y'all say I'm copying somebody else. But then y'all say in the same breath, but she can't dress. Most of the stuff I go to the store and pick out myself.
All right then, let's get into this mess because there's way too much confusion about who actually crossed the line first in the whole Remy Ma, Papoose, Easy the Black Captain, and Claressa Shields situation. Right now, Remy has taken most of the heat. She's been positioned as the one who ruined black love, painted as the villain, and labeled the disloyal one in this entire saga. In my last video, I already broke that narrative down piece by piece, so if you haven't watched it yet, go check my playlist. It'll be pinned in the comments section so you can get caught up. But for this conversation, we need to shift gears. We need to stop debating off feelings and start untangling the timeline. Because once you line up what happened, when it happened, and who was already talking behind the scenes, the internet's favorite story starts falling apart, baby. So let's start with what most people think happened and why that version doesn't hold water once you look at the dates. The dominant story online goes like this. Remy Ma was out here moving recklessly, messing with Easy the Black Captain, who folks keep dismissing as a discount papoose. And hey, it is what it is. In that version of events, Remy is framed as careless, emotional, and jealous. The narrative says she crashed out the moment she found out Papoose was dealing with Claressa Shields, a younger, successful woman with her own money, her own accolades, and her own spotlight. So the conclusion people jumped to was simple. Remy got insecure. Remy got unhinged. Remy reacted out of emotion. But hold up, did that really happen? Once that storyline took over, everything Remy said afterward got brushed off and never seriously examined, and that's the real issue. The problem isn't people having opinions, it's the order of events. Listen to this, because before you decide why someone reacted, you have to be honest about what was already going on behind the scenes.
He realized that a regular that can rap, but just not the way we do it. By the way, he makes $50,000 per battle, has about 5-6 battles a year. So he makes at least $250,000 a year. You understand? Great credit score. I never seen a person with a credit score like this in my life. Like the richest people that I've been around. But anyway, unlike some people who beg me to add their name to one of my properties and I have a lien on it because they don't pay their taxes. He couldn't fathom why him. So why he's sitting there, she was saying, why Hitman, why Goods? Why you lying? You was devastated that a regular that used to work for sanitation, got a pension plan, got a 401k, that happens to rap, was able to calm your manipulation, was able to treat me nice. Not just because the camera's on, not just because people are watching, but because he genuinely felt like that. Not because I was paying his bills. Not because I was taking care of his kids. And none of that. None of that. And then, after I created my Battle League Chrome 23, I hope to make another Battle League that's popping. He signed himself to, he literally that day signed himself to slit your wrist.
But hold up. Can we pause for a second and really clock how much Remy is saying without ever begging anyone to believe her? Pay attention to what she highlights. She doesn't open with a mess. She doesn't open with revenge. She makes a point to say that Easy, the Black Captain, treats her right behind closed doors. Not performative, not for optics, not because she's paying bills, funding lifestyles, or raising somebody else's kids. And that detail matters, because when a woman emphasizes private treatment, she's not flexing, she's correcting a lie. And even when she slightly veers off topic, she circles right back to the same core message. She's the go-getter. This is a woman who constantly reinvents herself, from building battle rap leagues to launching businesses to helping create a full streaming network that now sits among the top platforms. Women operating on that level don't have time or patience for unnecessary nonsense. They're not trying to juggle chaos. They're looking for peace, alignment, and respect. And here's the part we really need to talk about, because a lot of women, especially black women, will carry, cover, and sacrifice for their man. They'll overlook flaws, they'll absorb pressure, they'll protect that man's image. But cheating is usually where the line gets drawn. That's the moment most women say, nah, we're not doing this. You're not about to have me building empires, holding you down, and covering for your lack while embarrassing me publicly. Most women are done at that point, not because it's the only betrayal, but because it exposes that everything else you've been carrying was pointless. So let's actually walk through this in order, because none of the backlash makes sense unless you ignore the sequence. So boom. It starts when rumors are flying that Papoose allegedly knocked out Easy the Black Captain and that he and Remy were already separated. That's when the side eyes started. Women turned on Remy. Suddenly, the story became that she destroyed black love. But then December 2024 hit and the entire narrative shifted. Remy dropped text messages between Papoose and Claressa Shields, and what those messages showed wasn't a woman winning. It showed someone positioned like an unhappy side situation. She was upset that when her married boyfriend went home or moved freely, she wasn't being checked on. No goodnight texts, no reassurance, no access. She was also upset about not receiving flowers. But here's where the timeline gets louder. In those same receipts, Remy revealed DMs going back to 2020, messages where she and Claressa were cordial, friendly, even supportive. Claressa was asking Remy for advice, and Remy was responding. Now pause right there, because 2020 matters. At that time, Claressa was in a relationship with Tony Rich, which means while she was communicating warmly with Remy, she was also orbiting around Remy's husband. That context can't be skipped. As the situation kept unraveling, it came out that Remy had been involved with Easy since 2022, and that she and Papoose hadn't shared a bed since that same year. From the outside, without context, it looked like Remy was the problem, the cheater, the disruptor. But then Remy revealed more. She stated that Papoose wasn't only involved with Claressa, there was also a woman in California, with rumors of another situation entirely. At that point, it stopped looking like a reaction and started looking like a pattern. Claressa took a few public shots, the back and forth kicked off, and from there, Claressa kept inserting herself into chaos, posting, responding, and escalating. Meanwhile, Easy and Remy slowly faded into the background, which is exactly why this conversation isn't about optics, it's about who crossed the line first. Now remember that year, 2020, because while people stay stuck on Remy allegedly cheating first in 2022, Claressa and Papoose both confirmed their DMs started in 2020, and that's a problem for multiple reasons, because Claressa was also in Remy's DMs in 2020, because Remy was undergoing IVF in 2020, because Papoose publicly said,
family, you know what I'm saying? I get to spend so much time with my amazing wife and my amazing daughter, and I'm just making the best out of it, you know what I'm saying? And we moving forward. And some good things are actually coming out of this. You know, we're going to have a new child real soon, you know?
Another one.
So, yes.
Oh, I want
So, you know,
wow, congratulations.
yes.
I
So
think
I'm
there's gonna be
feeling
a
real
lot,
good.
lot of quarantine babies.
That Shakur Stevenson fight.
Yeah.
And then
You shook her hand and said you were a fan.
Yeah. I happened to be walking to my seat and I
You
looked.
happened to be.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, is that Claressa Shields? I've always been a fan of her.
Yeah, he got
And-
I got a video he sent me back in 2000 and was it 20 or something?
So he's been a fan. You
I've been
get
a
your
fan.
moment to say, I'm
I
a
see
fan.
Her. Yeah, I see her. And when I went to shake her hand, I realized how beautiful she was. I was like, oh, wow.
So Claressa.
So let's talk about Claressa for a second, because listen, she kind of told on herself. She basically admitted that she and Papoose were in the DMs back in 2020 and that he was sending her videos. Now hold up, y'all really need to watch that full episode. They literally explained how they were going back and forth exchanging poetry and vibes, and you can tell they later agreed to sell the public this "we officially met" story tied to the Shakur Stevenson fight in 2024. But she slipped. She flat out revealed that those DMs started in 2020, And don't forget, she was also in Remy's DMs in 2020. So let's be clear, that means she was privately talking to a married man while simultaneously messaging his wife for advice. And all of that happened well before Remy ever got involved with Easy, the black captain. So yes, in my opinion, a lot of people owe Remy a serious apology. Because my comments stay flooded with Remy cheated first, Remy cheated first, what about Remy? And what a lot of y'all are missing is why Remy isn't getting the same level of backlash. There are multiple reasons for that. First, Remy and Easy fell back. They didn't turn it into a public circus, no theatrics, no constant posting, no chasing attention. Remy did what she always does. She moved forward. She locked back in on her business, her evolution, and her next chapter. And that matters, because women who truly shine don't need noise to be seen. The light is already there. Meanwhile, Claressa chose visibility through disruption, posting every day, responding to everything, escalating nonsense, turning a private collapse into a public performance. That was her choice. And let's not forget, in those same messages, she admitted that Papoose doesn't like internet drama, while she continued fueling internet drama. Here's the difference in plain language. When you're secure, you don't audition. When you're confident, you don't compete. Remy let the situation expose itself. She let the bird do what birds do. That's not avoidance, that's discernment. And when you line up behavior instead of headlines, the answer about who cheated first and who handled it with maturity becomes very clear. So basically, Muffins, once you remove emotion and actually follow the timeline, the confusion disappears. What becomes obvious is that the story people ran with was incomplete. Remy didn't wake up one day and blow up black love for no reason. She reacted inside a situation where multiple boundaries had already been crossed based on what's publicly available. The DMs matter. The dates matter. Who was still married matters. And emotional access happening years before the public fallout matters too. Two people can be wrong in a marriage. That doesn't mean they were wrong at the same time or for the same reasons. And backlash does not equal truth. Remy absorbed the anger because she shattered an illusion people were emotionally invested in believing. And when a woman finally stops covering and exposes reality, she becomes the villain. But behavior always tells the real story. Behavior shows who escalated, who chased attention, and who quietly moved forward. At the end of the day, this wasn't about jealousy, it wasn't about being unhinged, and it wasn't about competition, at least not from Remy's side. It was about timing, access, and boundaries were being crossed long before the internet caught on. And once you see that timeline clearly,
everything I did, like, oh, she did this because of this person. She did that because of that person. If I wear my hair a certain way, if I wear some clothes, y'all say I'm copying somebody else. But then y'all say in the same breath, but she can't dress. Most of the stuff I go to the store and pick out myself and put it on. So I'm not copying nobody. But as far as in me rapping, go on my YouTube. I'm gonna put the link on here. I've been rapping for almost 3 years. I didn't just start this. I've been rapping. Why? Because I do what the hell I want to do. Like, I've been doing what I want to do forever. I got rap videos. I've been in the studio. I got songs. I had a listening party the week of my fight. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. Nobody is making me do anything. And I'm not trying to be like nobody because, baby, GWOAT is original. The GWOAT is original. I'm the first woman to ever use the word GWOAT. I'm original in everything I do.
if you're feeling my commentary, go ahead and hit that like. Drop a comment and subscribe to the channel. And even if you don't like it, still comment anyway. You might as well subscribe too, because let's be real, you'll be back. There's always something here that'll either entertain you or make you think. And don't forget to hype the video. It really helps the channel grow.